Good morning. I do hope you all had a lovely Christmas. Here we are again, Tuesday between Christmas and New Year. So I hope Christmas afforded you a little bit of celebration time with your loved ones, and obviously it's a little bit strange again, isn't it? We're tier 4 here, so I don't know where you are in your parts of the world, but I hope you're staying safe and well. So I've eaten too much, so I'm feeling really stodgy. Watched too much Netflix, so body hasn't really moved a lot. Obviously I do walk the dog a lot, so that's at least something, but I haven't really got on my mat. Bad me, hey? But I'm not going to berate myself about it, you know, allowed ourselves some time out. So we're going to do a little bit of perhaps twisting and detoxing this morning, so come and join me on the mat. And just be aware of how your own body's feeling and what's going on for you. Please take it gently if you haven't done anything for a while. Just allow these energies to move again. The body will naturally detox, so all we're going to do is kick-start these energies to get them moving again. So let's get on the mat. Let's see where we need to move. All right, so take a minute. You can stand, sit or lie. Just to bring yourself into the centre of the mind, the focus, use the breath. Allow yourself just a few moments to really come back to you. So if you've been into, like me, a bit of a Netflix bubble, get escapism. It's really good for you to do this escapism, but let's bring it back to the self to notice how we're getting on, how things are feeling. I've just overindulged in the old chocolate and cheese as usual, so the old midriff feels just a little stodgy for me today. So I want to get that moving, and now we're going to do some twists and get this centre of the trunk just to free up a little bit. So we've got a full moon coming up as well. We're full moon in Cancer, so this is very linked to the sacral centre, so this will also trigger up any emotions. So the full moon is really good at highlighting what is buried deep within us. So do allow time to recognise and notice. Nothing wrong with these feelings. Allow yourself feelings. Allow yourself time to let go of what has stored up, whether that's present or from the past, or even future events if we're feeling a little frustrated with the restrictions again. And it's fine, it's healthy to have these feelings, so don't feel bad that you're not always feeling happy. We can't always feel happy, it's not normal. But notice, recognise, and then you can have a journal, write it down, or I quite like to give it away to the moon. I know it's been mad, but you know, it's offering it away. Allow it to not harbour inside of me, inside my mind or my emotions, my physical body. And so letting go of it, even that actual action of letting go of something, is very empowering and releasing and liberating. So let's focus on the breath and just allow a few deep belly breaths just to be aware of where you're up to. Time to come back to yourself, time to notice what we need to address. And this is a regular work in progress. It's not a one size fits either, and it's not a one-time fix. It is work in progress. So when things accumulate, then the body will tell you, and you will then have to notice. So it's taking time for yourself to be aware, to notice what is going on. So find that breath, take it down to the belly. Allow these energies just to come and go. Allow them in and out. If you have an intention, if you've got something you know you want to release, exhale it, allow it, give it permission to let go on the exhale. Just free it up. Liberate yourself by allowing yourself to let go of something. Allow yourself to not be a victim of your own circumstance. Sighs, these are really good. These release these burdens that we might perhaps hold onto our shoulders or our heart space. So just allowing that time. Nice. And it's so good to come back to the self. It's really good. We might have had, even though restrictions, we might still had a busy time, that we haven't had time just to be on our own and notice. It's a very valuable time. Own time. Getting to know yourself better. And that's always an inquiry too. If you're not happy in your own company, what would you like to what are you trying to hide away from? What do you need to perhaps address? So let's take this into a cosmic egg. Just give yourself a hug. And notice, I mean, I'm straight away into my stodgy belly. It's a little bit overfull, so I do need to be aware of that while I'm sitting watching Netflix. I'm not munching all of the Maltesers. Oh, they're nice though. Let's take this into a release roll just to get some energies moving out the back of the body. So just waking up anything that we need to wake up. Always important that we do a little bit of mobilising when we come into our work, so do be aware. This can go into slow roll. This one's really good to open up each vertebrae. Now I feel this in the back of my hamstrings, they feel a bit tight today. But it's not a judgment, it's just noticing and being aware things that I perhaps need to release out a little bit. So just allowing that to slowly roll through and just let that drop through if you need to. Legs, if they need a little bit of a flippy flop, little bits of twisting positions. Be aware of the furniture as always. I'll be pleased to get back into a hall. When that is, who knows? Just clunked my knee. Oh dear. Just little releasing movements, little mobilising movements. Let's bring this, I think, into a little bit more dynamic work today. Just to get these energies, these stagnant energies moving. So a little bit of cat-cow, a little bit moving through. Just to wake it all up. Forward and back, round and round. These movements can be large or small, whatever you feel. I missed the hair dresses again, so yeah, it's getting a little long. Down dog, just take that into a little bit of pedaling out, a little bit of movement. Just bring this, you can take this into tabletop version, just take it into a little bit of a very gentle twist, just firing up. Engage the belly, draw the belly in and up, even if you've got a little bit of stodge going on. And just take that into a little twist position. Gosh, my back's a bit slippy. And change sides when you're ready. And I can just feel that opening up. This twist always is harder for me this way around. And just focus on the breath. Notice again the weight distribution between your feet. Have you shifted it way over to reach the ankle? You could be into the back of the knee. But let me show you the low version. You can just take this into a little softer twist. Just allowing this to open up across the back of the body. So please take it where you need to. This is actually quite nice in the warm-up phase. I'm always in a bit of a rush. I always want to get things done. So do take your time. You can drop this up and down into down dog and find it into a little bit of plank work. Ooh, nice or not. Depends where you're up to. If you've been very good over Christmas and carried on with your exercise, noticing your inner size too, that the effort, the energy inside of you is just as important as what we expend out. And let's bring this right leg forward. A little bit of forward and back movement. Give it a little bit of large. Push my furniture away. Just opening up the hips, just free up any stodginess in the hip, the back of the hamstrings. Gosh, mine are really tight. Feel this on my right hamstring. So more dog walking, less stretching. Tut tut. So again, that's not a judgment, it's just an observation so that I can change the balance. And I'm just going to bring this all the way up. Extended crescent lunge, starting off small, adding some little twists in just to open up again the trunk. So just open and close twist, will feel a little bit harder to breathe, open twist a lot easier. Just opening up anything that needs to open up. You can settle into the twist position if you're ready to do so. Don't overdo it. And a little bit of a back bend if you want one. That bend's obviously opening up the channels down the front of the body. Let's change that into the other side. Just to sit back to child pose. You just need to slow it down a little bit. I can just feel my energies are a little bit fast. Wanting to achieve it all. Get it all done, which is fine. And again, just work it through There's no right or wrong. How you wake your own body up. Just find that movement. Find that stillness. Left leg forward. This is always a little clunky for me, so I'm just going to do that one again. And let's see if we can soften that a little better. A little bit of round and round movement. Just to wake up the hips. Wake up anything that we need to wake up. Extended crescent lunge into these twist positions. So just find that little bit of movement just to wake up into the waist. And this is going to not only twist around the whole trunk, but it's going to get into your kidney points, the back here, and the bladder meridians, which will help the detox process. So if you have felt a little bit stodgy, things aren't moving as well as they should. So if your digestion has also gone into hibernation, like a lot of nature, then wake it all up again. Gently, please, gently. And just let this breathe into a gentle twist. Up into crescent lunge, a little bit of back bend, a little bit of a chest opener. Ooh, yes. And into the hamstrings. Don't forget, you can come in and out, you can stay, you can settle, you don't have to follow my speed, my rhythm. So make sure that you listen to what your body wants rather than what perhaps I'm offering. And so it's just giving you a little guide and an exploration of your own body, giving you the freedom to explore your own body, please. Let's take this over the top of the cat, Cobra Sphinx or Up Dog. So just find that forward and back again. So just to open up the chest, so we're going to allow deeper breath. And this is so important at the moment. So if we're a bit burned in the heart and we're a bit closed off in the heart energy, the breath becomes a bit restricted. And then it'll settle, Cobra Sphinx or Up Dog, it doesn't matter which you do. Again, whichever your body needs. Just going to add some little bit of movement here. So we're just going to open up a little bit down the side bodies. Doesn't have to be deep, just little mobilizing movements. And then just sit that back into the child pose. Allow that some breath. And it's important that we do take these little breaks, these little moments of pause in not a challenging posture, but in one that we can assess. How does the body feel now? I can instantly feel a lot of energy is now starting to move the back of my body. So this is great. So the warm-up has just started that process for me. Back to your down dog. A little bit of bend and straighten of the legs. We're going to do a little bit of standing work. Right leg forward. Now this can come forward and back. So if you need a little bit more dynamic work to wake it up, please just wake it up. Just bend and straighten that front leg, just to wake up those major muscles. And then we'll do a side angle. So this is quite a long stance. Elbow can rest onto the thigh and take a few circles into the arm. And just allow, I've got the heating on, so it's a bit hot in here. Allow a little bit of circling and see if you can just reach a slightly further point to the top of your mat with your fingertips. You don't have to touch if you want to. And then just stay that into a neutral stretch. Just allow this to open up the groin. And then you can start to deepen the front knee bend if you want to. Just allow that a little bit more. Breath. Gauge the banders. So pull in and up on the low belly. And then start to extend the arm over past the ear. But keep the shoulder moving in a straight line, a parallel line, so that the shoulder doesn't drop forward. So try and keep that open chested. And just let that breathe. And you can, if you want to, start to bring the hand down to the floor. Now my shoulder's starting to drop, so just be careful of that drop through the shoulder. And if that's too deep just now, bring it back to the elbows. absolutely fine. And you just circle that arm again and bring it up to a warrior two. Gosh, my thighs. So if you're feeling your thighs also, bend, straighten a little bit. We don't want to overdo it. So just bend and straighten to come in and out of the posture. Find your warrior two and find your breath. And it doesn't matter how low you're going. If you want to back it off a little bit today, please back it off a little bit. Be kind to yourself. Just bring that to the center. Oh, my thighs, I can feel my thighs. Just a little bit of goddess posture. So just bend and straighten. My right thigh is saying hello deeply to me. So bend and straighten. Sit it down. Arms can go over top or into the complete goddess. Oh, take the breath. Aiming for about 5 breaths. Now turn the right leg away, left leg into side angle, elbow to thigh. Find those circles, so just take this into a little bit of mobilizing. See if you can touch the top of your mat again or towards the top of the mat. And you may find you go a little bit deeper with each circle. Settle into just a neutral opening. You might feel this down the sides of the body. Notice where you're pushing and pulling, so where can you make it a little bit comfier? And back to the breath. The arm can then start to extend over past the ear, and you might be able to bend the front leg a little deeper. Notice where it feels a little restricted, where you can let go, where you can add a little bit more force, where it's not perhaps adding enough force. And of course, if you want to, take this down a little lower, but move this top shoulder open. I'm going to stay here for this round. Circle that down, bring it up to your two, warrior two, and just find a little bit of breath here. Again, notice where's the push and the pull, what is happening for you. Feel my thighs working a little bit extra hard. Turn both toes inwards or parallel, hands into the hips, and gently drop forward fold. Wide leg forward fold. Doesn't matter how deep you go. So let this breathe into the hamstrings and the groin. And find the breath. Tilting from the pelvis. Allow this a little bit of breath. Bring it all the way up, flat back. Soften off the knees, heels in, so toe heel in a little bit if it's too wide. Back to the goddess posture, a little bit of breath. Waking everything up. Okay, we're going to turn the right heel away, left toe away. Bend into the leg again. Bring the hips forward, so right arm is going to come forward. Your hip will need to follow you all the way through. Back heel can come off if you don't find it particularly easy. Elbow, right elbow to left thigh, into revolved side angle. And just find some breath. Opening the chest, so bringing the left shoulder further back, right shoulder underneath you. Just going to drop that down to the floor, bring that back foot in slightly, just rock it forward and back and come into pyramid, just opening up the back of that hamstring
into pyramid. Make sure your weight is equal front and back foot. You're not pushing particularly into the back knee here. Engage the core, so bring that belly in and up. And just try and lengthen your head towards your foot, not your nose to your knee. And just find that into a little bit of breath. Just turn the toes again. Walk it back to the center into a flat back position. So just find a little bit of neutrality. Right hand center, left hand into the waist and take a twist position. Arm can extend if it's comfortable for you. I'm going to show you this on the side plane. And just find a little bit of a twist here and the breath. And do adjust as you start to soften in the breath. You don't need to hold that same first initial posture. So find the flat back, so make sure you can use a block or a book here if you need to. Hand to the waist and gently twist through. Be careful this hip doesn't follow too much. Keep that quite neutral, and then the arm can extend when you're ready. I'm just going to turn this back through so I remember which leg I want to do on my twisted side angle. And then gently drop that down. Let's bring that up to goddess again. Woo, good old goddess. Left heel away this time. Right toe turns through. Bring the hips square. So if you need to adjust your back heel, please do so. It can come off the floor if you need it to. Left elbow down to your right thigh. Into revolved side angle, side lunge. And just find the breath. So left shoulder's coming underneath you, right shoulder opening back. So release the hands down to the floor. Forward and back, straighten out the front leg a little bit into pyramid. Just find a little bit of a hamstring stretch. Check your weight distribution front and back. So we want to be about equal in the middle. Check the hips haven't gone too dropped on one side, or not pushing on too much on one side. And then allow the head to come towards the floor, not towards the front of the leg. Lovely. Okay, swivel again, toe heel. So toes facing forward or parallel. Into flat back, hands behind the back this time. Interlace, gently drop forward fold. Arms can drop wherever's comfortable. Just opening into the shoulders. Let it breathe. And release the flat back, just release out the shoulders, drop the hands back down again, toe heel in a little bit more, and just drop into a Hindi squat, just to let that breathe for a minute. Noticing how that might be feeling, what is going on for you. Ooh, feels good. Hips a little bit more open, this right hip of mine feels a little stodgy, so this doesn't need to be still. So again, we can just rock it around a little bit. Just find that movement. Notice for yourself what needs to happen. So push the hips back up, feet together this time, or big toe mound. They can be slightly apart, hip width apart. Inhale to flat back, exhale to forward fold. Just allow the hamstrings both together so you'll notice them together now. Mine's a little tight on the right side. And we can hold the big toe, the heel, the calf, You can take the hand underneath the foot if you prefer, or you can ragdoll it, but make sure you don't just hang into the top of the hip here. Make sure you support it so that you're not just dropping and hanging out of the back here. I've got a bit of gripping going on up in this top right hip. So I'm going to take this through to vinyasa, so step it back to a down dog, over the top of the cat, into cobra sphinx or up dog, a little bit of opening into the front of the hip flexors, up dog, the knees are off the floor, cobra, soften the elbows into a little bit more of a back bend, sphinx obviously is down onto the elbows, and floppy grok. So do find whichever space works for you. Just find that breath. And then gently push back to the child pose. Let's just breathe for a moment. And just notice for yourself where your body might be gripping or objecting. Super. So let's bring this just up into a tabletop, a little bit of movement tabletop. I'm going to take a little tiger. My toes keep cramping up. There's too much chocolate. Not very good for your body. Take hold of the opposite foot. If you want to use a strap, please use a strap. Make sure the hamstring here isn't gripping, so you're not pushing that foot away just yet. Level the hips off and start to just move that foot a little higher. So you just feel a little bit of a stretch down the front of your quad, your thigh, and a little soften back bend. So open the chest as well. Tiger. And just let that release, a little bit of cat-cow. Oh, that felt good. Just to open up those channels and then change sides. So take hold of the opposite foot with the hand. Level off the hips. Keep the weight distribution quite equal between the foot and the hand on the floor. And then start to open the chest. Let the foot travel a little higher, just so it's comfortable. And let the body cram. And find the breath. And gently soften, let that go. A little bit of a cat-cow. Into cobra sphinx or up dog. So moving over the top of the cat. Dropping the hips down. And let that just open up. The front of the body, down through the hip flexors. And then very gently push that back to your child pose. Extended child pose. Curled up child pose, doesn't matter which one you do, just find the breath. And we'll just do a little thread the needles. So, right hand underneath left. Now you can have your hips high or low, doesn't really matter here. Pushing the shoulder underneath, but then push the left shoulder. So my right shoulder's on the floor. My left shoulder doesn't drop to the floor. Push it back so it's over the top of the right shoulder. So you're opening the chest a little bit. Left foot can come back for a little challenge balance. And you can take hold of the foot too to add another dimension. Gently let it go.
And do twist again, see if that'll go a little deeper. Hand can come to rest wherever you need it to. And drop the knee back down if you want it just to be a twist. Notice where you're pushing, mine's my head. And push my head. And let that go. Bring that into extended child pose or just child pose again. And then we'll do the other side. So left arm threads under, push the shoulder down to the floor, rest on the block, and then open the right shoulder, much stiffer this side for me. If you want to try the balance, so bring the foot out, you'll need to shift your weight forward to keep your balance. Take hold of the foot, and then opening the chest and moving from the hip. Just freeing up the hip flexors. And then slowly let that go. This is my stiffer side. Let that come back down into the twist again. So opening up the shoulders. Keep the weight distribution equal on both knees. Notice where you're pushing and pulling. And then just undo that shoulder. Bring it forward, try the extended child pose. Or just child pose, let it rest, let it breathe. And deep belly breath, feel the expansion of the upper back, the lower back. And very gently come back up, seated. Ooh, nice. Roll the feet either around you or roll over your cross legs. Just bring the legs forward and just do a seated twist. So bring up one of your legs, remember which one it is, because twists often confuse the brain, the muscle-brain link with which one we've used. So I'm using my left leg and my right arm. No, excuse me, hug the knee into the chest. Push both sit bones into the floor and lift up through the breastbone and very gently take a look behind your left shoulder. Now this arm can either sit at the knee, it can bind around the knee if you want, or it can hold into the foot. And find the breath. The breath will be a little restricted in a twist, especially a closed twist. So notice where that restriction is. My right leg's trying to help too much and I've got a little bit of cramp in my hip. And try not to weight too far back. You want to try and be as upright as you can so that the weight is equal on the pelvis. We're not rolling back too far onto the coccyx. And just allow that to breathe. And then just bring that round. Give yourself a cosmic egg hug. Lovely. And then change sides. So for me, it's the right leg now comes up, hugs in, hold with the left arm, up onto the sit bones, lift through the breastbone and look over the right shoulder this time. And just take that to a few rounds of breath. Notice if the left leg's pushing too much, if it's too tight in the hip flexor here, just allow it to soften off a little bit. And just find that breath through your twist. Notice if the shoulders are doing too much work. Lovely, and then bring that all the way back round. Hug again, cosmic egg. Oh, lovely. Into release roll, so hug underneath the knees this time, roll it back. Find a little bit of release. Notice if there's any difference
if you did one at the beginning. Mine's a lot smoother on my back. And then just rest it down. We'll just stretch open the front of the body. So push through into a soft bridge, doesn't need to be deep. And just let that breathe at the front of the body now. Knees are coming in, not out, so make sure you are slightly turned in. Neck isn't pushing, not pushing into the head or the shoulders, so use the glutes, use the push up, and then push it forward. So you do want to be, back bend, not the fitness bridge. And then slowly let that down. Just give that a little bit of flop side to side. And then we'll just take that into, you can rest that into a twist just to open up along the front here, the other side. And we'll take it into our Shavasana. Sorry, my furniture's in the way, I can't do this side. So just allow the legs to roll down. Check where you are. So if you're a bit of a rib pusher like me, a bit of a back bender, just push your upper body away from the low body so that we're not too arched in the low back and the ribs don't, so we're not shortened here and we have this big curve underneath our back and the ribs flare off. So just allow a little bit of length through the back of the body. Allow the breath to come down into the belly. So feel that breath. Where can you feel it? The shoulders, the collarbones, the ribs, out the sides, down into the belly. Just going to sit it up for you. And just allow a little bit of belly breath, a little bit of centering and focusing, so noticing how you're feeling again. Be aware of how your body feels. Where are those tingles? Where can you feel now? These sensations where we've opened up these energy channels, we've allowed this energy to start moving again. And this is interesting, it's made me feel hungry, so I've got things moving again. So notice for yourself, how is this feeling? Allow yourself about 5 minutes. 5 minutes into your rest down time. This is where everything assimilates, this is where everything redistributes energetically. This is where we become aware of what the mind is saying to us. Don't push it away, notice what your mind is saying to you. And the emotions, what are the emotions that are rising up? You might find that situations come forward, that we relive some situations. We'll just notice it and then let it go away again. Let it pass by. We don't need to hold into it, we don't need to relive it, especially if it's a particularly traumatic experience. And every time we feel we are drifting too far away, we're not noticing, just come back to the breath. Notice your breath and embody yourself again. Come back into your now, into yourself, into the moment that you're present in. So if it has taken you away off on the journey that you remembered or a journey that you want to happen, just bring it back into the now, into your present moment, to the breath that you can feel now, into the body that you can feel now, and into the emotions that you can feel now. And just allow that to settle. And again, don't worry if you do drift away a little bit. So every time you come back, just focus on the now, focus on your breath. Focus where you're up to, what is happening for you. And that stillness and that awareness will give you a lot of information. So give it the time, give it the respect it needs, that you need. This is for yourself. No one else needs to know that journey. It's for you to know, to feel, to sense and see. And be aware. Any negativity that comes up, just release that away. You might even be able to turn it from a negative into a positive. But be aware. Notice. And don't forget, it's okay to be negative. It's okay to feel negative feelings, sadness, anger, irritations. But don't let them consume you. Allow them to live and breathe and then let go. And so you can spend as long as you need to. If you want to go deeper, let your body rest. And this isn't the same as washing in front of the telly. This is relaxation on a deep cellular level, so that we notice and we're aware. We're not escaping, we're looking at ourselves full on, face on, warts and all, every aspect of ourself. And when you are ready, just bring yourself back with your breath, noticing where you are again in the room, noticing how your body feels and which aspects you need to move. Start off with your fingers and toes. And just allow yourself time to come back. You might spend a bit longer. If time affords you, let it. And as you come back, hug, roll, and bring yourself back to a seated position when you feel ready. And I'd like to thank you for joining me. That felt tough for me. I could feel a lot of stodginess moving in my body. And I do wish you all well. Take care, whatever it is you're doing, whether you're at home or work. And blessings on your day. Stay safe out there, everybody. Stay aware. Thank you for joining me. See you again soon. Bye for now.